If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our major stories tonight. The Nigerian Air Force says Ran bombing is regrettable, even as the House of Representatives calls for probe into the accidental bombing. The President sets aside the Federal Executive Council meeting, sends delegation to Borno State, also asks military to avoid repeat of Ran bombing. It's another bloodbath in southern Kaduna. 3 people are killed by a suspected herdsman. And Nigeria Air Force departs for the Gambia ahead of tomorrow's presidential inauguration. And for more on our top stories and others, please visit our website, channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also watch us on the go on your mobile device. Log on to m.channelstv.com or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Now, having the Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You can also have the eyewitness feature, so you too can be part of the news. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the eyewitness menu and follow the instructions to share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Let's take a look at those pictures that were sent into our portal. And we begin with this one from Bassa district in Nasarawa state. Our eyewitness reporter wants the government to address the education infrastructure in the state. We move on to Jalingo, the Taraba state capital, from where we got this picture of a dirty public swimming pool. Our eyewitness reporter is asking the authorities to look into the state of sports facilities in the state. And this one is from Zimro Street off Aba Road in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. Our eyewitness reporter is asking the concerned authorities to remove this fallen pole. Well, thanks a lot for all your pictures and do keep them coming. Let's stay with our lead story, and one of the lead stories we have is on security, where scores of fleeing Boko Haram members have been killed by a joint force of local hunters and the military in a gun battle at Gatha village along Sambisa forest. The Chief Security Officer, Nigerian Hunters Association, Adamawa State Chapter, Mr. Garba Tarfa, made the disclosure in Yola. He said 4 Boko Haram members were arrested during the encounter, while 2 AK-47 rifles were discovered. In addition, 6 Dane guns, 8 goats and 40 sheep were recovered from the Boko Haram insurgents. Mr. Tarfa also said that from December to January this year, no fewer than 40 people were rescued from the dreaded Sambisa forest by his men. One of the 3 leaders of the armed gang that kidnapped 8 persons, including 3 students at the Nigerian-Turkish International School in Isheri, Ogun State, appears to have ended up in the police net. A police source confirmed to Channels Television that the suspected leader, Philip Kakaru, also known as General Kakaru, was arrested by men of the Intelligence Response Team in Warri, Delta State. The suspected gang leader is said to have confessed to possessing about 25 AK-47 rifles with 5 of his boys among the 16-man gang that operated in the Turkish school on Friday. He's also said to have confirmed that other leaders are with the victims in the creeks of Lagos and Ogun, including one Abala with about 30 boys and another leader. Meanwhile, the police say they are intensifying efforts to rescue the victims. And as part of efforts to enhance the relationship between the followers of the 2 main religions in the country, the Kwara State government has opened a 2-day international conference to finding a solution to the crisis. Speakers at the event, which include the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sa'ad Abubakar IV, and the Governor of Kwara State, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, are calling on Muslims and Christians to unite in condemning and fighting criminals who hide under religion.
The crisis of religion, ethnicity, political violence, kidnapping, insurgency are a source of worry for any nation. For lasting solutions, government officials, religious leaders and other stakeholders gather in Kwara State for a 2-day international conference to openly discuss the issues. At the event, The governor of Kwara State, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, says nothing meaningful can be achieved where security and peace is lacking.
As a government sworn to promote the welfare and security of its citizens and residents, we stand determined to jealously guard and rigorously sustain the peace existing in our state and the harmony among adherents of our various religions and cultures.
A speaker from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia calls for synergy between the two countries to fight insurgency, while the former secretary of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Kwara State chapter, is seeking for more tolerance among religious leaders and the people.
I beg that level of accommodating people's opinion, people's view, should be raised, because we are in a time that we should stop deceiving ourselves, we should say it as it is and look for solutions together.
The Sultan of Sokoto, who is also the President General of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, reiterates that Islam does not allow for the killing of innocent people and calls for peace to reign in the nation.
I've said it times without number. They could profess to be Muslims, yes. What they are doing is anti-Islam, it's against the Holy Quran, it's against the decrees, the dictates of Almighty Allah, and they are going to hell for committing murder unjustly.
Various papers will be presented here within the next 2 days, stating different views, and hopefully the communique reached will impact on the search for peace and unity across the country.
And from Kwara, we cross over to Abuja. Here's Ivy Clem. Ivy.
Thank you, Ijoma. The Islamic movement of Nigeria is demanding the immediate and unconditional release of their leader, Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, and his wife, who have been in custody since December the 14th, 2015, without trial. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the coordinator of the movement in the Federal Capital Territory, Sheikh Abdul Bello, says despite the judgment of a federal high court ordering the release of El-Zakzaky and his wife within 45 days, the federal government has continued to detain the cleric.
We demand and insist that the federal government and its agencies must release our leader, Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaky, and his wife, Malama Zinatuddin Ibrahim, unconditionally and in accordance with the procedures laid down in the judgment of the federal court delivered on the 2nd day of December 2016. The federal government and its agencies must obey the orders of the Federal High Court Abuja, as they have a responsibility to show good example to the people of Nigeria as a regime that believes the rule of law and due process. Serial disobedience to court orders and contempt for the fundamental rights of citizens to freedom of religion does not portray does not portray our country as one that is ready to manage its religious diversity in a way that strengthens the federation.
Meanwhile, at least 3 people have been killed and many others wounded in Samaru Kataf, Zangon Kataf local government area of Kaduna State, following an attack by gunmen suspected to be herdsmen. An eyewitness report told our correspondent that the attack occurred near a market on Tuesday night, shortly after the state government relaxed a 24-hour curfew that was imposed on the local government. The police spokesperson, Mr. Aliyu Usman, confirmed the incident but did not speak on the number of casualties. It was gathered that the dead bodies and those injured have been taken to Zangon Kataf General Hospital. And following these killings, the state government has ordered the resumption of the curfew. As the attacks in southern Kaduna continue, despite the presence of security personnel, the police say their livelihood is now seriously threatened. Some of the residents who spoke to Channels Television say they face the risk of famine because of the fear of being attacked in their farmland. Our correspondent, Ini Thompson, has been touring the communities, and now she reports.
This is part of the destruction that took place on Christmas Eve of 2016 in Goska Town, in Kaniko Chiefdom, in Jema local government area in southern Kaduna. Now, we're told by the district head that this is just part of the 180 houses that was destroyed and 18 lives lost. What we see here now is, well, there's been a bit of attempt to bring normalcy back. So we see that some of the roofs are being put together, but obviously this is not a place where people can live at the moment. And we're told that on the 25th of 2016, which is the day after the attack, there was another attempt, but it was sent away. But after that, there hasn't been any attack in the community in Goska, but that doesn't mean that peace has returned to Goska Town.
Sporadic killings are going on in the farmlands. Whenever these farmers seek to go back, either to harvest or just see what their farmlands are like.
But you have police. I mean, like you said, the police can't stay protect you around the farms.
The police and the military tell the communities that they do not have orders to go into the bushes. Their orders are to protect the towns.
The reason behind this conflict, according to the Fulani residents in southern Kaduna, can be traced to many years back. And they say even after so many years, they feel that they are being victimized.
Oh, we the Fulani are not against them being given every aspect of their rights. We are Nigerians. They must have that right. They have a right to live. The Constitution has spelled it clearly. But always this agitation of killing, maiming, and that everything you have to do, you have to use force, you have to coerce, you have to harass.
Almost every single attack by our people has been a reprisal. Usually people try to fight back, only to discover that these people are so heavily armed with such superior arms that the sacking of these villages come. When you chase the 50 that attacked you today back, they come back tomorrow with 200.
So whatever reason is given for the attacks or counterattacks in southern Kaduna, the bottom line is that Nigeria as a whole is losing economically and otherwise. So the government has to reinforce or re-strategize to quell the crisis in southern Kaduna. From Kaniko Chiefdom in Jema local government area in southern Kaduna State, I'm Ini Thompson reporting for Channels Television News.
Some children believed to be victims of human trafficking are now in the custody of the police in Jos, the Plateau state capital. They were rescued in the state capital inside 2 trucks conveying them to their destination. The police told Channels Television today that the command is screening the victims and meeting with governments of Jigawa and Bauchi states to release the citizens back to them. The police public relations officer, Matthias Teopil, has explained that the minors are all over 100, they're all male, and are being transported from other states to Plateau as a major route. And when the news at 10 returns, the Senate says it is worried about the currency disparity and advises the Central Bank of Nigeria to tackle the exchange rate problem. That's after the break.